What it do, chooms? Welcome back to SPACEJB. I'm your host, Space, and thank y'all for clicking this video. In regards to the Phantom Liberty DLC, there isn't much information given to us fans of Cyberpunk 2077 just yet. For lore mongers like myself who just can't help to scratch that itch of digging deeper into some of their favorite RPGs' history, I feel that keeping Cyberpunk 2077 fans guessing and giving us more time to speculate is part of the fun. It allows us speculation junkies so much more time to drift ever so closely to the inevitable black hole that leaves the mind spaghettified as you chase wild space theories on the game's current lore, as well as find clues that could point to potential things to come in any of its following DLCs. While I was digging deeper than Soulvol into the mega corporations of Cyberpunk 2077 and the wars surrounding them, I came across one line of important information, with an AI analytics software practically predicting the coming of the next hot war in 2080. Tying into the current events of Cyberpunk 2077 has me theorizing that the events of the Phantom Liberty DLC being the catalyst that could potentially set up Cyberpunk's next major war. And in this video, I'll dive deeper into this theory, talk about how events and major players from 2077 could be the flame to the Phantom Liberty fuse that will set off this next major war. Before we get into this video, if you like this kind of content or are just a huge Cyberpunk fan like myself, then don't forget to romance path that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my Cyberpunk content. And I already know what you Chrome Jock astronauts are thinking. Space, we saw that 74% confidence rate, you samurai gonk. That is practically a C. How the hell can you get all of this information for this video based off of a damn C? To topple the first domino of this theory, we must take a trip back and talk about the original Hot War and the past wars that led up to the events that we the players get to experience in Cyberpunk 2077. The first Hot War originally evolved from within the Shadow War, which itself took place and evolved from within the Fourth Corporate War.
And it will be like a taco inside a taco within a Taco Bell that's inside a KFC within a mall that's inside your grave!
The Fourth Corpo War stands as the battle that has the most influence on the version of Night City and the world during 2077. It all started when two Aqua Corps, Sino and OTech, went at each other over acquiring a recently bankrupt iHag, which was a corporation that made its eddies from specializing in underwater shipping tech. Both companies were equally matched in terms of money, yet things escalated when OTech hired Militech and Sino partnering up with Arasaka inevitably changed the tide of the war. A series of crazy events led to the start of the Shadow War. One being when an Arasaka advisor was caught slipping and zeroed by Militech on OTech grounds. Another was when an Arasaka automated torpedo targeted a Militech-owned vessel as it crossed over Sino territory. Even after Sino and OTech eventually negotiated a peace treaty, Arasaka and Militech's beef just kept on cooking. During this war, Arasaka ended up using its new completed weapon, the Soul Killer 2.5, which they used on a high-up Militech executive. It ended up working perfectly, which allowed Arasaka to interrogate the mind of this exec, and the information acquired from this interrogation led Arasaka to attack Militech's Night City office. After months of secret attacks on one another, things escalated once again into what we know as the first Hot War. Now I encourage y'all to strap in, because this is where things kick into hyperdrive. During the Hot War, Arasaka and Militech just went full endgame on one another. All across the globe, wherever these two powerhouses ran their operations, were being attacked by the opposition constantly. These daily battles weren't just being fought on Earth. The conflicts extended all the way into orbit, thus affecting the space traveling industry, and any other businesses operating in and out of orbit were also drastically affected. Things around this time only got worse, as the infamous data crash, which date-wise says that it could have happened in either 2020 or 2022, yet for this theory, let's just say that it really sparked in 2022. This crash was set in motion by the legendary netrunner himself, Raish Bartmoss, when he released the Rapids virus into the net. who I'm actually thinking of making the topic to my next character lore video about. It was between Raish or Alt Cunningham. You could follow me on Twitter and let me know which one y'all think I should do. To be honest, that'll really give me a reason to get my ass back on Twitter in the first place. It's been quite some time. With what this man released into the net, this helped throw the world into complete chaos, with war and death raging on the surface, out in orbit, now death in the net. Economically, everyone was feeling the chaos, thanks to these two mega corporations' massive influences on the entire planet. And this leads me to the next domino falling, which is the NUSA and how they play a major part in this theory. After the 7-hour war, the Republic of Texas and the government of Southern California nationalized both Militech and Arasaka facilities within their borders, making due on a promise to do the same if fighting between both companies continued. Saw the EEC nationalizing both companies' facilities in Europe also after a Militech showroom in Italy was invaded, which both companies deny having anything to do with, suggesting that it was a false flag or a rused operation just used to set up the companies. That way the EEC can get the excuse it needed to acquire their assets. Soon after, the Japanese government then took its shot at trying to nationalize Arasaka, which thanks to Saboro's influence didn't work at first. Not until Yorinobu Arasaka gave the Japanese government info that aided in their seizing of the company's assets. After this, President Kress made the moves to effectively push all of Arasaka's operations out of North America for her own benefits. Yet, she still faced Arasaka's businesses that were in operations up in the Western Hemisphere. Eventually, President Kress was able to get her wish, with Night City being a free state, left both Militech and Arasaka a battleground to fight on. This led Arasaka to using the Soul Killer program it stole from Alt Cunningham to target and kill prominent national figures while they were still connected to the net. Militech and the NUSA abandoned Night City at this time, considering it a lost cause, yet swearing to destroy Arasaka somehow. That somehow, as we all know, was when Militech sent in a strike team with a nuclear device, not only looking to destroy Arasaka, but potentially looking to destroy Night City in the process. Blaming the event on Arasaka itself was all the ammunition Militech and the NUSA needed to finally squeeze the remaining forces that Arasaka had out of the country. Now let's fast forward a few decades later to the Unification War, where newly elected President Rosalind Myers was trying to extend the federal ruling over the rogue free states. Now, as you can imagine, most of these free states weren't down for the unification idea at all. With increasing fears of the battle eventually reaching Night City, Councilman Lucius Rhines sought to bring Arasaka back to the US for protection against the new USA and its Militech forces. Arasaka arrived just in the nick of time with its supercarrier, pushing back the opposing forces. This leads me directly into the third domino needing to be toppled over, which involves this sneaky traitorous corpo ass bag, Anders Hellman.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Being one of the top bioengineers working for Arasaka, Hellman had a major role in spearheading the advancements of the Relic project. Using Alt's Soul Killer source code, he created something new that is capable of communicating with personality constructs. So far as we know it, there were only two versions of the Relic that was created. One was the commercially sold Secure Your Soul program, which allowed the wealthy the ability to store their psyche in engrammatic form, capable of basic communications with their loved ones. The 2.0 version of the Relic that was stolen by Jackie and V during the heist mission was originally set up by Saburo Arasaka as a secret project. It was meant for the internal use by the Arasaka Corporation only.
The biochip is what's unique, not Silverhand's engram. The previous version of the chip was only used to communicate with pre-saved
And it was
engrams.
rare as fuck and cost a fortune. Yeah.
This one's rarer. Meant to install and activate the engram in a new body. When I left Arasaka, the project was still in the trial phase.
The main purpose of the Relic 2.0 version was meant to seemingly grant Saburo Arasaka immortality. Depending on if V goes to Hanako for help during the Nocturne mission, they will get a chance to talk to the engram of Saburo Arasaka, where he reveals some info on the relic.
I used to work for Arasaka Counter Intel in Night City before. We all make mistakes. I'm here to fix mine.
To me, it seems as if Saburo was trying to work towards monopolizing immortality, and with all of the engrammatic constructs stored in Mikoshi, could effectively pick and choose which major figures to bring back to life. Thanks to the actions of Yorinobu, who first stole the relic from Arasaka, was contacted by Hellman to return it. Hellman then told Papa Saburo what his son had done. This prompted Saburo to confront his son at Konpeki Plaza, where unfortunately he was choked out by his own kid. This left Hellman scared for his life and led him to cut a deal with the Chinese manufacturing company Kang Tao. He was offering his loyalty and the blueprints to the relic to the highest bidder. As you can imagine, once this information got out, this only gained Arasaka more enemies. Let's now tip the fourth domino in this theory, which is Kang Tao. Originally, the company was located in Taiwan, becoming a top dog among the Taiwanese companies. Japanese businesses were taking over the Taiwan territory, though Kang Tao managed to keep its independence by not selling out in the 2000s. By 2040, Kang Tao had been restructured into a Chinese company, effectively skyrocketing it to the top tier of weapons manufacturing. This company's glow up owes a huge thanks to the backing of the Chinese government and its bold choices. By the year 2077 and the events of the game, Kang Tao overall was mostly known for his smart gun weaponry. Though Kang Tao is relatively a newer company, it has a lot of commercial support, yet isn't well liked by other corporations, mainly because of its reputation for stealing much of its research from the opposition. One thing about Kang Tao that put it in my sights for this theory was how it keeps many of its controversial operations behind closed doors. There is also the fact of knowing that Kang Tao expressed an interest in purchasing Pacifica, which the government only gave it one stipulation, and that was to make sure to clear out the area of gangs and crime. We have finally made it to the fifth and final domino in this theory, which is the Phantom Liberty DLC itself. And this DLC practically reeks of the same stench and espionage that we saw fueling a lot of the smaller yet impactful fights during the Fourth Corporate War. We can speculate in the new DLC that V most likely will be used as a disposable knight on a chessboard, helping the NUSA pull a checkmate into the position of ultimate power. Two of the new areas that we're going to get introduced to in the DLC, one of them being Dogtown and another one being the Pacifica Combat Zone. Not much is known about Dogtown just yet, but the Pacifica Combat Zone makes me think all the way back to Kang Tao and when they were showing interest in purchasing the property. They were thinking of building a new server facility, and I asked myself, why would Kang Tao be needing to build a server facility in the Pacifica area? One thing that's weaved in and out of the storyline is hints towards an inevitable war against AIs. And even your boy Space here really thinks that that's going to be a big possibility later on down the road. Though I'm not going to dive any deeper into what I think could be the AI war, because I personally think that is going to be the end game, the culmination of all these type of battles. Though in the Phantom Liberty trailer, there is some imagery and what I theorize as some clues to what could be hints to a rogue AI. But for this video, I just simply want to stick to the topic of the AI's predicted next hot war and how the events from the Phantom Liberty DLC could be what sets this all in motion. Thanks to the Unification War and the NUSA effectively turning Pacifica into a battleground after invading from Southern California, which effectively left plenty of room for criminals of all kinds to swiftly move in and take over the area. We may get introduced to a whole new character in the upcoming DLC, someone who's said to be the leader of the combat zone and is only referred to as the General, who, if not playing a fixer in the world of Cyberpunk 2077, could be the next major villain that V has to face. They could be the character that has so much inside information on the NUSA they could potentially be a loose end that needs to be tied up, leaving no trace of evidence on what this government could have really been up to in the Pacifica area. The latter theory is further backed up in my mind after hearing Solomon Reed say this.
Dogtown. Burn it to the ground's what we'll do. It's a simple choice. Them or us. Peace comes at a price. Someone's always got to pay.
We all know as a collective that for the most part, Johnny Silverhand's memories and how he tells stories can't necessarily be trusted. Yet, during the trailer, Johnny expresses some concerns about V taking the vow with the NUSA.
How many times you willing to get burned before you stop trusting someone? How many times you gotta take a bullet for these motherfuckers in the name of empty promises?
Listening to this has me theorizing that Johnny could be remembering the events of the Night City Holocaust and how the NUSA played a major part in that event. The NUSA had a direct influence on the Militech hiring a strike team to go in and detonate a nuke in Arasaka Tower. Then the NUSA proceeded to blame the event on Arasaka, forcing a nationalization, which thus led Arasaka to only have operations strictly out of Japan. Now that's what I call getting hit with the corporate okie doke. And to wrap up the last part of this video, my final theory ties in Kang Tao one last time to this whole bubble, which deals with Anders Hellman and how Kang Tao originally wanted to purchase the blueprints as well as purchase Anders Hellman's loyalty in order for them to get the information on the Relic version 2.0. And remember that Kang Tao wanted to purchase Pacifica in order to build a server facility. And this is because Kang Tao might be trying to build its own version of Mikoshi. This could truly spell disaster. Let's just say for this theory that the government greenlit the cleansing of Pacifica for Kang Tao to come in and take it over. Pacifica isn't an empty, desolate place. It's full of people, even though they might be mostly criminals, and in the combat zone specifically, there is a leader who is said to have a militia. This leader may not take too kindly to the news and retaliates by attacking an NUSA vessel in order to kill or kidnap the president or somebody of equal importance. With one thinking that this attack could cause the government to back off only would make things worse, as the FIA has to get involved in order to complete the mission. Now let's just speculate that Anders Hellman may have given Kang Tao a blueprint to the version 2.0 of the Relic. Do you really think Kang Tao would tell anybody about this ordeal? I highly doubt it. We already know that Kang Tao likes to steal most of his research from his competitors, as well as does most of his operations in secret. If Kang Tao is able to get their hands on this technology, this would drastically change the dynamic of power. I honestly can only imagine who is truly behind the scenes pulling all the strings. It could be a rogue AI, it could be another mega corporation, hell, it could even be the EEC for all we know. One thing I do know is that power is the true currency in Cyberpunk 2077, and every powerful entity would do just about anything to obtain more of it. And there we go. Once again, I leave it up to you, my chooms. Do y'all think the events in the Phantom Liberty DLC are gonna spark the next major war? Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. I also have to admit that this is probably my most ambitious video to date. I can say with a 74% confidence rate that most of this video was derivative of speculations. And I love making videos like this because it allows me to have so much fun and just go off on wild theories based off of the information that's available. And thanks to all the comments, constructive criticism, love, support, and viewership that I've received from you all in this month and a half, y'all have turned something that I truly fear doing into one of my most exciting passions that I've ever had. And I want to just take the time to truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. And remember, some of the greatest outcomes of your life simply reside on the other side of your biggest challenges. The one person you should never give up on is yourself. Trust me, I know I'm always sending you love and positive vibrations. And until my next video, let's take off. I'm out. Peace.